People, welcome back to Politics Watch. This is Sir P. Now, right now I have a couple of updates on some some of the most controversial laws that are currently in Jamaica. Right, so there was a select committee that was gathered together to make some recommendations, and I'm going to tell you about 3 of those laws and what is going to happen to them. I'm actually going to play the exact clip from the Justice Minister so that you can hear it from the horse's mouth, right? And then I'm going to give you my commentary on these laws and the implications of them. So the first one I'm going to start out with is a law that was recommended that would make the forceful entry, how would I say this? People, these topics are very, how would I say, touchy, and YouTube is very sensitive, so I'm going to try and word this in a PG-13 way, right? So the first one talks about the forceful penetration of someone's bottom, right? And they were trying to push forward a law that would make that illegal, right? This is what the Justice Minister has to say about that law.
It was posited that forced anal penetration should be made a criminal offence akin to vaginal penetration with a commensurate penalty. An examination of the legislative authorities revealed, however, that any amendment to that effect could be construed as an implied repeal of the offence of buggering. Accordingly, Mr. Speaker, it was determined that the committee did not have the power to effect that amendment or to recommend it, and the matter should properly be considered by Parliament. Mr. Speaker, this government has given its commitment to invoking a referendum on the matter.
Now, I know some of you are confused after hearing that, because at first glance it sounds as if it's saying that in Jamaica it is currently not illegal, right, to forcefully penetrate someone's bottom, right? As if rape, especially male rape, right, or female rape involving anal sex is not illegal, but that is not what is actually the case. See, what the committee was trying to push forward was that if you made just the forceful penetration of someone's bottom illegal, then it would have implications on Jamaica's current boogery law. Now, as Jamaica's current boogery law states, and people need to remember this, a lot of people get it confused, the law does not specifically target men who are homosexuals. The boogery law is about anyone's bottom, right? But obviously because gay men, that is what them deal with, so they end up fall under the umbrella. So the committee was trying to push forward just the forceful penetration as illegal, but not the act itself. Does that make sense? So in other words, 2 straight men, right, who consent, right, to having intercourse would no longer fall under the boogery law. But the problem is, in order for them to bring forward this law that the select committee was looking at, they would have to get rid of or modify the boogery law. So because the government was afraid of touching the boogery law, they've decided to not push forward with this law. I know that's kind of complicated, people. And when I first heard the Justice Minister say this, I had to go back and check and speak to people who are more familiar with the law. And if anybody's listening to this right now and they are knowledgeable about such topics, please don't hesitate to jump in the comment section and make things as clear as possible for some people. So people, when you hear the Justice Minister say that they will no longer be going forward at this moment with making it illegal, the forced anal penetration illegal, it's not saying that it is okay to rape somebody, right, anally, right? It is not saying that in Jamaica right now, if you were to do that, there are no consequences. No. Obviously that is illegal in Jamaica. What was going to happen is if that law came to the fore, then we would probably have to repeal the boogery law. So we will now have to first look at the Bougainville law, right? And then we can get back to this law. Hopefully that makes sense. Now, the next topic on hand was one that, to be honest, I didn't even know in Jamaica this law was not in place. But now, the government or the select committee has informed the government that they believe that marital rape should be recognized as a real thing, because apparently in Jamaica, based on how the laws are set up, a husband cannot actually rape his wife. So listen out for this one.
Certain conditions must be met before it is determined that a husband can rape his wife. The committee recommended that these conditions must be removed. The act should be modified, and it must now be that rape can occur unless it is consensual sex.
So there you have it, people. The committee has recommended that the laws be modified where it can now be where a wife or a husband, I guess it works both ways, it can work both ways, can actually say, no, I did not consent, and I was actually raped by my spouse, right? Now, as I said, I have to be honest, people, I didn't actually realize that in Jamaica, the laws as they currently are did not have any condition where a husband can rape a wife or a wife can rape a husband, right? So that is going to be coming forward soon. So remember, people, these are recommendations by the select committee, right? So the government has to then take the recommendations and actually put them or bring them to reality, right? So this is not the announcement of the passing of any new laws. These are the recommendations that the government are then going to take and bring to life, right? Now the next one is very interesting. The next one is relating to Pitney having intercourse, and those are people who are not past the legal age of consent. So for example, 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds, 13-year-olds, right? So the government or the select committee recommends to the government that if two Pitney have consensual or consent to having intercourse, right, then they will not face any criminal punishment. Instead, they would get counseling. Listen to the Justice Minister on this one.
Where children, that is persons under 17, 16 and under, engage in sexual activity consensually, the feeling is that they should now be diverted to child diversion, counseling, mentoring, so that they're not criminalized. We go further too, Mr. Speaker, that if there's a 4 years gap, so 13 and 17, 15 and 19, if it is consensual sex, and the parties have agreed, we should not criminalize it. We should send the parties to counseling.
So there you have it, people. This one is another touchy subject that people have been going back and forth on for years. And in my opinion, this is a common sense kind of law. Now there's one part of it that maybe I would do something a bit different, and I'm going to tell you what that part is. But as it relates to two underage Pitney, right, consenting and having intercourse, it makes sense to me that none of them should receive criminal charges. For example, a 14-year-old boy and a 14-year-old girl, right? If they consent, even though we can argue if they can consent, right, at that age, but if there is no force, right, then I don't see why one of them, which would most likely be the boy, should be arrested and charged and have some kind of record that makes him sound like some kind of R. Kelly type of figure, because he's also underage. He's also the same age, right? So the counseling and the education, that makes more sense to me than throwing Pitney in a jail. Give them these records that is going to stay on them forever, right, and permanently mark them again as some kind of beast, right, some kind of predator, when in reality they were also Pitney when the act was done, right? Now, they did recommend something. This is the select committee again, which if there's a 4-year gap, And as you hear the Justice Minister say, for example, a 13-year-old and a 17-year-old and a 15-year-old and a 19-year-old, it still would give that leeway where there wouldn't be any kind of criminal charges. Now, this is the thing. This is where I think people might go a bit more, yeah, I'm not too sure. The 4-year gap. Because I think people would be more comfortable if it was down to even a 2-year gap. For example, a 15-year-old and a 13-year-old. Right? A 4-year gap, it kind of stretching it. Right? It's on the border of, because a 19-year-old and a 15-year-old, I mean, picture it in your head, right? Your 15-year-old daughter carrying home her 19-year-old man, and them actually do things. You know what I mean? It starts to get a bit more complicated right there. So, right? I would not be happy in that scenario as a father. If I was a father of a girl, and I'm like, and she's 15 and she's saying, oh, here's my 19-year-old. I'm not too sure about that one. Right? Maybe a 2-year. Yeah. But people, tell me in the comment section what you think about that. But again, for me, it makes sense that Pitney shouldn't I get thrown behind bars and I get criminal records if they're also underage. I think they should keep this law to when both parties are underage. When one technically becomes an adult and the other one is still underage, I think things start to get a bit shaky now. Right? But it definitely makes sense to me why you wouldn't want to throw 2 14-year-old or 2 13-year-old and take one and throw them behind bars. Right? So people, again, this video is very touchy. Jump in the comment section, make a reason it out. Right? I know people going to have a lot to say about this one. And again, regarding the first one, regarding the boogery law, if you're in that profession, if you know more about the select committee and the recommendations, please don't hesitate. I tried my best to explain it based on how people who are in that field explain it to me, right? But again, every day is a school day, so I'm never too proud to learn, and I'm sure some of my subscribers will also like to learn, right? So Patreon squad, big up on yourself. Please like, comment, and share the video. Bless.